your political theater to Texas.
This is not about political theater.
And it was more political theater than anything.
It's nothing more than pure political theater.
It's pure political theater.
Welcome, folks. Hey y'all. It's good to see everyone. I'm having all kinds of technical things happening right now, so just endure this and rock with me if I sound weird. We had some sound issues last time, and I wasn't even aware. Like, if something comes up with the sound, please put something in the chat and say, hey, Dr. T, you sounding a little weird, or, Dr. T, we don't know what's going on. So, but I want to welcome everyone in the chat. I'm happy to see you. Dr. Hall, did you just type in? Okay, we are clear today. What is happening here? I don't know if is that you, Dr. Hall? In the chat? What is happening? Anyway, so I just checking in with everyone. We know that everything's going to hell. If I believed in hell, I could validate that, but everything's going to hell. And we're just here. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Hit the like button on your way in. Kind of spurs the algorithm and lets people know that we are here and that we are going to be discussing stuff that is going on in the news and politics and things like that. If you are new and you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We do this every Tuesday and Friday night, unless otherwise stated. And we are building a community here of what I like to call the actually progressive. And what I mean by actually progressive, I mean the people who understand that, like, all these political parties are full of it. And we actually want a free and just society. And we know that that cannot happen under capitalism, right? We understand here that these things cannot happen, in the way that the structure currently is. So we gather together and we have these conversations and we talk about things from a different perspective. You're not going to get a whole lot of stuff. I just wanted to briefly, before I bring on the guest for today, I just wanted to briefly kind of reflect on something that happened today. I follow a lot of content creators, even though I don't like that phrase, but that's the best way to say it. A lot of content creators, vloggers, political pundits, and things like that. And one of the groups that I follow or have followed for a while is called the Midas Touch. And it's three brothers who, and I believe that they are Jewish white men, and they talk about like politics and things like that. They were definitely hardcore for Kamala, but I don't even think they were hardcore for Kamala. I think that they were hardcore against Trump, right? So during that election, they gained a lot of ground because that's what they were about. But I've been following them from before that, and I've definitely noticed a change in how they are. They kind of build themselves as independent media, which I support. And they call out the mainstream media all the time. And there's a lot of things that they say that I do support. And there's a lot of things that they say that I'm like, what are y'all talking about? So anyway, today they posted a video and their original caption said that Mike Johnson is talking about Donald Trump. And it was a video of Mike Johnson. It was a legitimate video of Mike Johnson, but he was actually talking about Biden. And so they were taking the words of Mike Johnson and kind of transposing them on clips of Trump and things like that, being funny. It's, whatever, political satire. If you heard, Canada did something similar where they took Ronald Reagan's words and about the tariffs, and they were showing that. And Trump tried, and I have a clip about that, but they did that. And I said to them, I said, for journalistic integrity, you guys should let people know that this was originally about Biden. Because in the replies, you have so many people saying this is AI, this is fake, this is whatever. And they were getting mad at Midas Touch. They were like, why are you guys posting AI? Because again, not everybody is engaged in the political stuff like I am. Not everybody reads everything, watches all the videos and things like that. So a lot of people did not know that this particular commentary that Mike Johnson was making was about President Biden. And so there were so many people, and they were getting mad. They were like, we're here, we trust you as a news source, as a media source. You claim to be unbiased, like all this stuff like that, but here you're posting AI. And so I was trying to help them out, and I was just like, you guys got to put some context. They actually start arguing with me, like kind of going back and forth with me about this political satire. People do it all the time. They do it on the Daily Show. I'm like, but y'all are not the Daily Show, because y'all are not comedians and y'all are not funny. And even the Daily Show makes it known that this is what they're doing, right? So anyway, they're going back and forth, and I was like, I'm like, you're doubling down on this, and this is not a good idea, because again, people, one, are not that smart, and so they're going to believe this, right? Or they're going to think it's fake, and that's going to compromise their trust in you as a news source. I'm trying to help you out and tell you that you should follow up and tell people that this was actually about Biden. So they're arguing with me, and then white people step in, and they're agreeing with me, and they're supporting me and echoing me. And then I finally posted a picture. I was like, you know what? You guys can basically do what you want. I'm just trying to help you out. I posted a picture of me posed with all three of them at the Webby Awards. They were winning an award, and I was a part of a team that won an award for a podcast. And we have a picture together. And I was like, by the way, I'm a fan, and I'm trying to help you out. And so that happened today. And it's like, we're all in this kind of political commentary sphere. Okay, they have almost 6 million followers. White men are always going to get more attention or whatever. I don't have that many subscribers. I would like to have 5,000 by the end of the year. That would be nice. But the point is that when it was me, a Black woman, kind of correcting them, they're pushing back. And it's really not until white people jumped in and were like, yeah, no, this is messed up, you shouldn't do this, that they end up deleting the post and reposting it with exactly what I said that they should do. And I just bring that up because, like, we are trying to create and carve spaces where we can have, we can discuss politics, American politics, global politics, without it being, controlled by the mainstream. And it's not good when we're trying to hold each other, like, kind of to a certain standard and accountable. If somebody were to come to me and be like, hey, FJ, this thing that you said was really wrong, like factually incorrect, and you shouldn't do this, whatever, I'm going to at least hear what people have to say, because I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to be a source that people can trust. And I'm trying to be a resource for so many people. And so it really bothered me, but I just wanted to shout out the people that did speak up and that were like, yeah, you guys are wrong, you shouldn't be doing this. Because it's unfortunate that certain folks will not respect the expertise of a Black woman, a knowledgeable Black woman. And as they continue to kind of move into this kind of clickbaity space that they're going into, and they're getting this, and I know they pay their bills. They make a lot of money. Okay, they have almost 6 million subscribers. They make a lot of money doing this. You will never see them in the streets. You will never see them doing white papers or policy things. You will never see any of the Midas brothers. You will never, Mycelis, I should say, you will never see them at a Capitol. You will never see them at a protest. You will never see them doing any of these things. All they do is they do sit behind these microphones in their cushy homes, and they just, they comment on things, right? And it's like, I get it, but like, listen to somebody who's actually done this work and has been in these streets. And so I'm trying to help y'all out. But again, Black women being the moral compass for everybody else, I'm kind of tired of it, right? So it is what it is. But I'll bring Dr. Hall to the stage. Here he comes, trying to ruin everything like he does every week. Put it in the chat if I should let him go.
Ruin?
It's not even an option. It's not even an option.
Ruin?
Just put it in the chat if we should let him
Bold
go.
language.
Welcome, Dr. Hall. We actually do. We do appreciate you. Put a 1 in the chat if you like Dr. Hall being here.
Hi, everybody.
Smart guy. We respect the work that Dr. Hall does. Again, another expert in his field, right? And one of a few. Like, when I say handful, right?
There's not that many of us. Maybe
there's
14,000
not many Black male clinical psychologists with PhDs who own and run their own clinic, right? And
there's
his
actually
clinic
very
does
few
important
of us.
work in the community. There's like 3 of you, and it's like he's one of them. And so we're always honored that he comes. We're honored whenever he lends his expertise and his thoughts. And we're honored that he is somebody that is doing this work in the community, really focused on mental health of the people in our communities. And so we support him. And we're going to see some collaborations come in between us. We'll have that stuff coming for you. We're going to do some things that are really important in these communities. But for now, he's here joining the podcast, usually on Tuesdays, We appreciate him. When I'm able to do Fridays, I'm usually by myself. And it is what it is. All right, guys. So let's dig in. Dr. Hall, wait, how are you?
Doing pretty well. Can't complain. You know, making things work.
Black man, very vague. How was your day?
It was good. It was
you don't
good.
tell
I got my
anybody
car to
about-
the shop, and I had to pay a lot of money to get my brakes done. That was expensive.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the brakes.
Nobody cares about that? Ugh, they were expensive brakes. I care because of how expensive they
Do
were.
we need to GoFundMe for the brakes?
No, I had it. I run a business.
Well, you had it. Well, because you run a
got money.
business. He's got
Yeah.
money. Charging white people $200 an hour, I hope.
Well, yeah, I try. The ones who pay it.
Mm-hmm. So we got it. So, shout out to this. Yes, I forgot to mention. You see the shirt? Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, Ralph, and Johnny. Because this week, I secured tickets to what'll probably be the greatest concert of my entire life. And right now, that's actually Formation by Beyonce. And then right after that are the 4 times that I've seen Prince in concert. Five times I've seen Prince in concert.
Well,
but I'm pretty sure,
not to brag,
that New Edition, whom I've seen 12 times.
Wow.
And Boys to Men that I've seen over 35 times. Being on stage together, because those who don't know, Boys to Men exist because of the New Edition song Boys to Men.
Yes.
And Michael Bivins of New Edition put Boys to Men on.
Yes.
And so it's been a continuation. First concert I ever went to, Dr. Hall, was New Edition.
There you go.
You understand? And so I've seen them 12 times. I've seen them in all their iterations. I've seen when it was just BBD. I've seen it when it was any without Bobby Brown. I've seen it with Bobby Brown and Johnny. I've seen them when it was Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. I saw that. I've seen every iteration of it. Okay. It's like every time they go on tour now, I go.
Yeah. Do they always make it to the end of the tour?
They do. Oh, that's a great question. I saw when they had Jodeci. I saw it all.
Okay.
And then Boys to Men, guys. How many times have I posted video footage of me in the front row, getting my roses, shaking hands with Sean?
Yes.
Like we're like this.
It's like your friends.
The same stage.
All on the same stage with Tony Braxton.
And Tony Braxton.
And also a Braxton.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to be more excited, but I'm not about her.
Oh.
But I am excited.
You're excited to see
about the fact that these 2 groups, my 2 favorite boy bands of all time.
Favorite boy bands of all time.
I've seen Boys to Men tour with Backstreet Boys. I've seen New Edition with Jodeci. I've seen them all. They're coming together. So everyone, I just want to share that I got tickets to see that. Hey, Katie is exhausted.
Hey, Katie.
Here. Katie, we love you. We love to see you, Katie. Katie is with child.
Yes.
And Katie has been doing. Katie, can you drop that Cash App and that Venmo in the chat? Let's get some support over to Katie. Katie is pregnant and is struggling with work and things like that. We're gonna let's put your stuff in there and let's try to get some funds going Katie's way. And if you're watching this after the live, you can click the live comments and scroll through. Dr. Hall, we have minute 13:58 to see when Katie puts this up, and so you all can support her, throw a couple of dollars her way. In fact, don't send me cash this time. Send it to Katie when she posts her stuff because she needs some support right now. All right, Doc, let's get into this docket. But Doc, I have to go to the bathroom.
Let's do it. Let's do the docket.
I have to go to the bathroom, Dr. Hall.
Okay.
Dr. Hall, here's what we're going to start with.
What do we start with?
Talk about the disease monkey, Dr. Hall. I'll be back.
Talk about the disease monkeys? I can talk about disease monkeys. So, monkeys. Oh, I had this open already. I would have gladly been. I needed like another moment to be prepared for this being put on the show. So, according to Fox News 13, a university in Tulane University in Mississippi disputed claims that monkeys that were released when a truck carrying diseased monkeys turned over on the highway, and a couple of monkeys might have escaped. At least one monkey escaped. These monkeys had been infected with hepatitis C, herpes, and COVID. So they were out here with all the diseases being transported via truck, and then the truck crashed, and then the monkeys got away, and maybe, might be terrorizing a small community. And so there's some concerns, because I'm pretty sure this is how like World War Z starts, or some other horror movie where one diseased monkey is loose in the population and bites the wrong kid, and then next thing you know, you got to shoot your grandmother in the face because she's gotten bitten while walking home from bingo.
They're mad because they're mad. Actually, I'm going to close Instagram because I think all the people that were on Instagram have made it over here. Okay. Dr. Hall.
If they didn't, they should get over here.
Right. They're mad because they're saying that, we got the monkeys. And then the one that got away wasn't infected. They said it wasn't infected. They tried to say, that one, shut up.
I wouldn't tell you that monkey was infected either. Just the one monkey we didn't. I
would never tell you that.
Who's gonna know?
I just want to be clear.
How are they gonna know?
I want to be clear.
No one will ever know.
Listen, and so this white man responded to me, and he said, "It's harder to clean up. It's harder to clean up than expected. The monkeys blend in well with the general population in Mississippi. Maybe look for the ones that seem smarter than most."
Is that vaguely racist or overtly racist?
Nigga, that is the most racist thing I heard all day.
There we go. Old school racism.
His bio says 30 years of capital markets dealing desk. Now I teach business at a local college. I've seen enough of the world to naturally lean left. Dr. Hall, we talk about these leftists. Leftists.
Well-meaning.
Leftists.
Well-meaning. Good hearts. They got good hearts.
White male leftists are the most racist people on the planet. I just got to point that out. I just have to say it, Dr. Hall.
I know what's in their heart.
If you guys are on Threads, share and let them know that we are live. I have it on my my feed. Go share, let them know that we are live. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you have not hit that like button, please do so. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Dr. Hall, he said that the monkeys will blend in a state that is 1 in 3 black people. 1 in 3 people is black.
I mean,
he said the monkeys will fit right in. Now, some people may be watching this and they may not get it.
It's old school racist.
Is it?
Old school, yeah.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. Friends, hold on. Because I actually have something that I want to share that is not on this docket.
No. Why are you doing this to me? Me personally.
I know, but listen, okay, friends. Okay,
hold on. Marginally prepared.
But no, we're gonna get there. I gotta talk about AOC.
Go ahead, do it.
I gotta talk about AOC and her speech. And I'm just trying to pull up the clip because I do have it. People got very upset with me. So AOC, there was a rally for Zoran Mamdani. What are your thoughts on Zoran Mamdani?
I think he is a breath of fresh air to New York politics.
Yeah.
He's running for the mayor of New York City.
Yeah.
He just so happens to be Muslim in a country that is supposed to be separating church and state, but he has been the subject of many racist and spurious attacks just because of his race and or religious background.
Yeah.
He was going up against Cuomo. He was going up against the other guy for a minute there, and that guy had to drop out.
Oh, and Eric Adams.
Eric Adams had to drop out. He took on, 2 of the corrupt politicians who had previously ran New York, and currently is the front runner in a lot of polls and whatnot. But the establishment is not
Staten Island. Staten Island is not.
Hey, Staten Island.
Staten Island is not feeling. All right, I want to show y'all something. I want to show y'all. We're gonna look at what she said. Hold on, let's.
She's in her bag.
Slave people. And I want us all to remember and to know that the future, our future, is not determined by a despot in a house built by enslaved people. our future will be determined not in a house built by slaves, but in a city built by freemen, in a city built by unionists and immigrants and suffragists. The bricks laid by working people, past, present, and future, the seamstresses and the unionists who paid for our rights in blood. This city was built by the Irish escaping famine, Italians fleeing fascism, Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos seeking a better life, Native people standing for themselves, Asian Americans coming together in Queens, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, in Manhattan, in Staten Island.
Okay. Shut the
She's
fuck
feeling
up.
herself.
All right.
She's feeling
No.
herself.
No.
Her speechwriter thought they ate. I mean, come on. That's a good, solid.
All right, let's
Hey,
break this
White
down.
House is on everybody's
Okay.
mind. Let's just bring it up.
Let's break this down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's break this down. I'm gonna let another Latina say this. Okay. I ain't gonna say.
Mm-hmm. Not going to be the one.
Ay, la madre. Okay, so first of all, this show the comments thing on stage is weird to me. I don't like it. Anyway, first of all, what she said was ahistorical. However, I had like hundreds of people responding to me upset because I'm questioning what she said because they're too stupid to know the history, Dr. Hall.
Why'd you need to do that? Why'd you
Like, you know, so
why do you need to hurt people's darling?
what do I know about African American history? Nothing. I read a few encyclopedias. I mean, what
have you watched a few YouTube videos or something? You think you know things?
So the first thing is the juxtaposition of the White House being built by enslaved people and New York City not being built by enslaved people, right? So first of all, why even talk about the White House being built by enslaved people as though that's something negative? So the last time we got together, I was talking about Benjamin Banneker and how he designed the White House and he designed DC, and he was a free Black man.
Yes, we just talked about that last week.
We just talked about this. Benjamin Banneker was a free Black man who was hired to design the White House and the city of DC.
Because of his skill and talent.
Because of his skill and his talents as an early architect, mechanical engineer, all these wonderful things. And yes, they had enslaved people like physically building this. The way she presents it, right? She says, we're not like ruled by somebody, you know, by a house built by enslaved people.
We're a country built by enslaved people.
Okay. When she said that, I was like, okay, where's she going with this? Because first of all, why are the enslaved people catching strays?
Why are they thrown under that
bus? As if they did something wrong. Like, you know, as if the White House's existence is somehow like a problem, and throwing in that it was built by enslaved people is part of that problem. But that's not a problem because they were enslaved. They had no choice. It's not like they signed up and said, hey, let's build this future house that's going to be taken over by a fascist.
Yes. Well,
so that's number one.
Yeah.
And then the need to juxtapose that to how New York City was built, that wasn't even necessary. Yeah. Because the truth is that New York City was built before these immigrants got here. The truth of the matter is the immigrants are here because of anti-Blackness, right? Maybe perhaps folks in the audience need a history lesson on immigration, something that I teach after several times teaching a class called The History and Significance of Race in America. Yeah, here's something that they don't teach you.
Your credentials.
I got a little bit. Here's something that they don't teach you. That the borders opened, that Ellis Island opened. They welcomed in all these other people because they didn't want this place being too Black and too Mexican. Bring me your poor, your huddled masses. Yes, they wanted white people. And this is a legacy that still exists to this day, which is why they're not, attacking white immigrants in the ways that they're attacking others. Now, they have picked up some white immigrants, a few of them, but they're not hunting them on the streets as they are our Latino and Latin family. They're not doing the same thing. Because the reason that immigration had those open borders where anybody could come in through Ellis Island
From European
is
countries.
because they wanted to whiten up the country.
It's getting too brown.
So anytime you have a white person who says some shit like, oh, well, you know, my ancestors came through Ellis Island, we didn't have anything to do with slavery. I'm going to quickly remind you that the only reason they were allowed to come with no papers, no proof of identity, no anything. You could come in and be a serial killer in Italy, and you could come here and change your name and anything, and you didn't have to prove nothing.
Well, yeah.
You could just come through. They wrote the shit down. Whatever you told them, they wrote it down in one of the books. And you could be here as long as your skin was white. And as long as you identified as Christian at first. When they talk about the Jews from the Holocaust, that was because the United States was importing Jewish people, you know, to allow them what happened. And that's a whole other story I'm not going to get into because they're going to call me anti-Semitic, and I'm not. But I understand history or whatever.
Why you got to bring up actual history?
The United States also welcomed Nazis.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's be honest about that.
We wanted to win the space race.
Right. So that's why white immigrants are here, because the United States wanted to whiten things up because of the threats they felt were posed by Black people reproducing on their own, and Latinos reproducing on their own. And what we know is that because Black women in this country for generations were forced to have multiple children, it began to change the DNA. And so even after enslavement, Black women kept having a lot of children. And that's a whole other history lesson about them pushing for birth control, right? But anyway, so that's that. Yeah. Then Dr. Hall, she gonna try to suggest that New York City was not built by enslaved people. Because she said, like, she was like, instead it was built by, and then she lists all these people. And then she says, Black Americans escaping slavery and Jim Crow.
Well, slavery.
Wall Street
we're in the North.
Established as a slave market.
It's the North.
A lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand Wall Street exists because it was to trade people
in the North
and to help these people get money off of the slave trade.
In the North,
Dr. Hall,
there was slavery in the North.
I'm gonna get you off my show.
I was always told that it was just in the South. That the North was.
I'm about to remove you off my show.
Where you went to be free.
I need you to be with me on this right now.
I'm with you on this. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Wall Street.
He's trying to be funny, and I need him to stop being funny for like 5 minutes, okay? Because we're having an important history lesson. Important Put a 2 in the chat if I get him off the screen. Okay. So Wall Street is a slave market.
Yes.
Slave exchange, right?
The biggest.
That's how all these banks get all this money, right? New York reluctantly abolishes slavery, right?
Because people couldn't make a big deal about it.
To have a moral hierarchy, to pretend to have a moral hierarchy over the South, but that's it. They didn't care, not because they cared about it. I don't want anybody to believe that any place abolished slavery because they actually cared about African and African American people. They absolutely did not. Not a single state cared about the humanity of these people. Okay,
it was all about for their britches,
but it was about polite society. It was about wanting to establish a nation that didn't engage in those kinds of dirty things, even though the Northerners did, right?
Yeah.
Seneca Village, in the heart of New York City, raised over to create Central Park.
I mean, we needed a green space.
There are so many structures in New York City that were built by enslaved people.
Yes.
People were able to go to work and raise their children and all those kinds of things because they had enslaved people working as domestic workers. Okay. They could host their parties where they made money because there was an enslaved person cleaning their house, cooking their food, watching the children, and serving their food.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So for her to come and suggest that it was people escaping Jim Crow as if Jim Crow didn't exist in New York, because my mother, born in 1955, was being bused to a school because they were dealing with segregation still.
Yes.
Okay. They were still dealing with segregation issues in Boston in the 1970s. So again, this idea that somehow the North didn't have these issues.
Immune to the problem.
Right. That New York didn't have these issues.
Somehow. Of a nation.
It's ridiculous. And it was insulting. It's completely ahistorical. But what she tried to do was lump in African Americans and indigenous people with immigrants who trade in anti-Blackness and have since they got here, and continue to make life hell for Black Americans and even first-gen Black people and Latinos in New York City. And I'm talking Asians, I'm talking Jewish people, I'm talking Italians, I'm talking about the Polish, I'm talking about the Irish, all the people that came and are now the police officers, Officer Kowalski and Chicotelli and all that shit. They traded in anti-Blackness in New York City. And they became the overseers. And to earn their whiteness, they stepped on Black people and they stepped on brown people. So for you to frame this as if all these people were working together in some kumbaya erection of New York City, girl, you stupid?
Well, uninformed.
As a native Black African American New Yorker, that shit was foul, son. And it really bothered me. Oh God, like that bothered me.
And it brought out the New York accent in you.
Leave me alone, Dr.
I'm just saying. That's how you know she's going full New Yorker.
We don't do that shit, son. Like for real, like
for real.
And she's already been anti-Black. Like when they talk about reparations, they were talking about Black people getting reparations, and her stupid ass going to be like, "What is Black?" She's already sold out. She's already like AOC. I lost interest in her years ago.
Yeah.
Again, we are actually progressive here. We are actually progressive here. We don't get into the bullshit. Okay. Yeah. And so she's not. She's in the same vein. She aligns with Bernie Sanders, right? And we all know that he can't stand Black people. Like, he don't have nothing positive to say about Black people.
When he needs them as a prop.
Everything he says about Black people is about struggle. Like, he does not think that Black people have ever had a win in their lives. So anyway, I just wanted to show that because it really bothered me. But the main thing is that people did not understand what was wrong because of the lack of the historical knowledge and understanding. Because immediately, like half the replies, people were like, damn, that's messed up, because they know history, because they understand it. I had white people arguing with me. She did mention Black Americans. I said, and she did so incorrectly. She erased the bondage that my ancestors experienced laboring for this city. And she tried to make it seem like Black people and these European immigrants were somehow in harmony, when European immigrants to this day in New York City peddle in the worst anti-Blackness. Ask anybody who grew up in New York City in the 80s, even into the 90s, how they were treated by Jewish people, how they were treated by Asians, how they were treated by Eastern Europeans, and wonder why so many hold a lot of anti-Asian and anti-Semitic and such feelings because of how they were treated by their fellow New Yorkers.
Yeah.
And I had to unlearn a lot of that because I went to school in Rego Park. And if anybody knows anything about Rego Park, they know it is a Jewish neighborhood. And being a Black girl going to school in a Jewish neighborhood was not the best experience. Okay. So that we need to talk about that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Somebody said they have segregated neighborhoods. Absolutely. It's one of the most segregated cities in the country.
Right.
I don't know why people act like New York is this, they call it a melting pot. It's not. It's
why there are so many cultural neighborhoods. Yes.
There are so many cultural enclaves there, and they're all separate.
Yeah.
So what are people talking about? Anyway, let's move along, Dr. Hall.
Why are you trying to disrupt that parasocial relationship they have with their political darling? Why are you doing that?
Right. And that's the problem, is that like people are so aligned with these politicians, they worship these politicians, they stand these politicians. And I'm like, you have these parasocial relationships with people who wouldn't spit on you in a fire. And I don't understand it. All they care about is their own political power, their own rise to power, their own paychecks, their own money. They don't care about you. And that's the bottom line. You convince yourself that they care about you. Yeah, you have to convince yourself that they do, because one of the things that, I remember reading about is like people have to have buy-in, because once there's no buy-in, we descend into chaos.
Yes.
If people accept that this shit is rigged,
yeah,
and they're like,
I got to keep giving you the illusion of a binary choice so that you feel like there's choice. Otherwise, you realize you've never had a choice.
Yes, I had some of the best bagels in my life growing up in Rego Park, which is why I don't accept anything less than that. Okay. Bensonhurst in the 80s absolutely was very much like that's all you had to know, right? The fact that the Asian business owners will set up shop in Black neighborhoods but not live there, not contribute anything to this day. The nail salons, the local stores, beauty supply, all that stuff, but refuse to live in those Black neighborhoods.
Why would you live amongst them?
And refuse to like pour back into that, right? Like that's not it.
No. It's not sharing these resources.
Okay, so what do we got up next? Let's see, Dr. Ha.
You're off docket, so I don't know where we're going next.
No, okay, so let's go Trump addressing the troops.
Okay.
We got this here. Let's show this, because I don't know what the hell he was talking about here.
Does he know what he was talking about?
I don't think he knows what he was talking about.
It's not likely. He's just kind of doing his own thing.
Let's just
see. We wanted the Supreme Court to think based on merit. You know about that, right? Merit. Everything now in our country is based on merit, and that's why I look at you and I see nothing but merit. It's great to have a country back where we can go by merit. Now we don't go by anything else except for talent and work and hard work, and it's such a big win. That was one of the most important wins, and the will, patriotism, and spirit in your hearts is our single greatest weapon. The strength that you have is unbelievable. That's why as we make a record investment in our military, we've never spent so much, and we've never spent it more wisely, because now we watch it. We spend it properly. I'm also supporting an across-the-board pay raise for every sailor and service member in the United States Armed Forces.
He knows that that's not happening. Like, he got $130 million, acting like he got $130 billion.
Now, if you don't want it, you want to give back to your country, just let us know. We won't give it to you. Is there anybody in that category? Huh?
What is he talking about? Now,
all we really have to...
Now, for context, he's in Japan. And so these are Navy troops that are stationed in Japan. And he just had the new woman that was elected, to lead Japan as a prime minister or what have you. Somebody who admires Margaret Thatcher and is a far-right conservative and models herself after that. She came and spoke, and so he's meeting with her. So again, we're seeing across the world the rise of the far-right leader, right? And so everybody should really be thinking about the implications of that for global economics, global society, all those kinds of things. We are rapidly moving towards fascism kind of being the law of the whole land, which is ultimately going to lead to the destruction of humanity, right? I give it 50 years at most. So that's where we are. So that's the context of this. So he's speaking to them. And I mean, he just lies through his teeth the entire time.
What we have to do is get the Democrats to approve it. But they'll come along. They always do, they always do. And because I heard that the sailors on the George Washington took a hit to your family separation pay. You know what I'm talking about, right? You took a little hit to be here, right? By returning to the port, you returned early for this event. I am delighted to announce that as your sort of boss, I don't feel like your boss, but I guess I am. At least
he's so fixated on this idea that he is the commander in chief. It is
Mhm.
so weird. Like, he really does have this fixation on him being the boss and being the leader. And so I just want to remind everybody that we're in season 18 of The Apprentice. Like, that's what this is.
This is a long form
At least
version
you'll
of
be
another.
happy about this one. In
Mhm.
my direction, we're going to make sure that you receive the full amount that you were owed for the deployment. And we're not going to deduct anything because you came in to listen to your commander. I'd like to be an admiral. I always wanted to be an admiral.
Now listen to this. This is stupid.
So random.
Don't tell the other people that I love so much. You know, they sit around the table, they have all those beautiful stars and stripes. But I'll tell you what I love. I will always love the admirals. I love those uniforms. And I look at these guys. I don't think I would have done very well if I had to compete with these people. They're too good. But I always felt that the Navy is a very special group of people. And I see it when I see you. I see it over the past 11 months. The spirit of our military has been.
So then he goes back on thing.
What is he talking about? It's very much on brand that he'd want to wear like an admiral's uniform and all the medals, right? Like, 'cause that's usually what you do when you're a despot. Like you just award yourself, and you think it looks powerful to stand up there with epaulets on and all the medals you can pin to a chest. Like, they all do that, right? Like Kim Jong-il, like they've all done that at some point.
That's who he's modeling himself after. Like, so much of what he's doing is like Kim Jong-un, and he just everything is just like worship me. I'm I'm in charge. I'm the boss.
Right.
That is ridiculous. Also, Donald Trump has been talking about banning early voting. Okay. And let's see. So he wrote on this Truth Social. I'm going to share it with you. I don't want you all, sometimes you guys think I'm making things up. I'm not making it up. All right. So in Truth Social, he wrote, "What's worse, the NBA players cheating at cards and probably much else, or the Democrats cheating on elections? The 2020 presidential election being rigged and stolen is a far bigger scandal, all caps. Look what happened to our country when a crooked moron became our president."
He's not talking about himself.
He's not talking about himself, folks.
Even though it makes sense.
We now know everything. I hope the DOJ pursues this with as much gusto as befitting the biggest scandal in American history. If not, it will happen again, including the upcoming midterms. No mail-in or early voting. Yes to voter ID. There was a comment there. I think he wanted to end that. But anyway, watch how totally dishonest the California prop vote is. Millions of ballots being shipped, in quotation marks. Get smart, Republicans, before it's too late. Okay. So there's actually a lot going on in there, as usual, with like the way that he talks or what have you. I just want to make sure that the chat understands. Again, if you are here, you haven't hit the like button, please do. Please share. Please let people know that we are here. So he's comparing the NBA players or coach, whatever, the scandal with them to this idea that the Democrats are, cheating on elections. So he's setting the stage that that's what's going to happen in the midterms. Like, he's already saying you can't trust any vote that's coming out, even this one that's coming up, because that's really what he's talking about, the California prop votes. He's saying you can't trust them because the Democrats cheat.
Yes.
And he's saying that one of the ways that we cheat, or not we, because I ain't a Democrat, but one of the ways that Democrats cheat is through early voting. Now, we know that Democrats are more likely to vote early.
Yes.
Right. Part of that is because a lot of people do not have the opportunity to vote on election day.
Yes.
Because instead of making it a national holiday, which would encourage everybody to vote, we have one of the lowest voter turnouts in the world. In any country that has a democratic election, we have one of the worst turnouts, right? The last time we got to 70% voting, I think was, don't get me quote. It's been a couple of decades at least.
A long time.
We average 67%, right? 2/3, 2 out of every 3 eligible voter usually comes out to vote. That's because we take for granted that we are able to vote, right? Go ahead.
There is a concentrated effort to make it more difficult to vote because there's a certain group that likes to hold on to power that recognizes that the easier you make it to vote, the least likely they will be to have that power. So they work very hard to continue to put barriers, as they always have, between the populace and the ability to vote freely and openly. While on the one hand, general apathy is a problem in America, but there's also a group that's like, if too many of them show up, then we don't have power. So they've written it down. They've said it out loud before.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's like lower income people tend to vote earlier
because they have jobs and they can't be off.
And people that work multiple jobs, can't always get there. Most jobs are supposed to allow you time to go, but that doesn't always happen. We know that doesn't happen.
No.
And again, I just wish that there was more of a push to make Election Day a national holiday, especially since they closed down schools for that day because they use those as polling stations. It should just be across the board. But anyway, he's setting the stage up because he's saying, watch how totally dishonest the California prop vote is. He's already saying, do not believe anything that happens.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
A lie he's already been told to stop telling, right? The idea that elections were stolen from him in 2020.
Yes.
And yet here he is still banging that drum because, what are repercussions to him at this point?
And he says, he says no to mail-in votings. He just talks to the troops in Japan.
Right.
But then says no to mail-in voting. So everybody that is deployed and stationed overseas, you're not accepting their votes. You're basically telling the U.S. military that they're not allowed to vote.
Yeah.
And then there are people that are deployed to other states, but their home state is, Jersey, Pennsylvania, whatever.
Wherever.
And they're deployed because the deployment is not always international. Some people don't realize that. You can be deployed to another state. And you want to mail in your vote to your home state where you live.
College students,
college students
who are working in other states. Yeah,
we're talking about people that tend to vote Democrat.
Yeah, and
you
don't want too many of them to vote.
As you say, exactly as you said, you don't want them voting, and because again, the Republicans should never win anything. They are the minority.
They genuinely wouldn't win. If
like
it wasn't
1 in 3 people, 1 in 3 Americans is Republican. Thereabouts.
Right.
Maybe a little bit more now, but it's like maybe 1 in 2.5 people. Right. The majority, the Democrats have the majority everywhere. That's why they focus on the what's it called? The gerrymandering and why they're changing all of these districts and why they're trying to pick up these seats and all these things like that, because they know they can't win. If it was a straight up Democratic,
it was just numbers.
If we got rid of the Electoral College.
Why did we have to have the Electoral College? Why did we need one of those?
There's a deep racism, right? They would never, ever.
Occasionally.
No, they wouldn't.
Podunk, Arkansas, or something. They would.
Correct.
Land.
And to anybody that lives in Podunk, Arkansas, no insult from Dr. Hall. He's rude.
Not an insult.
He's rude.
They're not watching the show because you're a rebel rouser.
He's rude. Okay. What else we got going on here, Dr. Hall? What else is happening?
What else is up?
Oh, Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson.
He now banned
him. Most incompetent.
Let's talk about this third term thing, right? So Donald Trump is obsessed with this idea of running for a third term or winning a third, not even running, just winning a third term.
Yeah.
He's obsessed. And so let's watch this real quick.
Because we all know he's going to do it.
Well, he's going to try, right?
He's going to do it.
So let's try this here. Let's see.
President Donald Trump on Monday declined to dismiss speculation that he would seek a third term, saying he hadn't considered whether he would go to court to contest the U.S. Constitution's 2-term limit for presidents.
I would love to do it. I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers. If you read it.
Him saying that he has his best numbers ever. And okay, so I just want to go. Hold on, I'm going to go back just for 2 seconds. Please watch his face and his body language.
I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible.
Okay, I also want you to watch Mark Rubio. Watch Mark. So first of all, Mark is staring at him. Watch what happens when he says he has the best numbers ever.
I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers.
Look away, like, nah, you lied.
If you read it,
Well,
Am I not ruling it out? You'll
Look
have
at
to tell
Marco.
me. All I can tell you is that we have a great,
It's like this.
a great group of people. Stay tuned.
But what barriers stand in the way of another term?
Okay, so he's saying that he's going to have
he's going to
this
do it.
term. He's going to try to do this, right?
He's going to do it.
Okay. You're saying that he's going to do it.
I mean, here's the thing about this the weirdness about this presidency is he since the beginning, he said all the crazy things he's going to do. Everybody acts like we should question whether or not he means it, and then he does it. And everybody's like, who would have thought he'd do it? He's going to do it. He's not a person that can be trusted with the law or with reality. And so, yeah, on the printout they give him every day, his numbers look great. On the AI that they feed him every morning with his cereal, he's doing awesome, and everybody loves him because that's how they've learned to pacify him.
They do give him AI. I'm convinced that they are feeding him AI images of things and trying to let him know that the world is one way.
America loves him, yeah, and that's all they have to do.
Like, and they do, and they just make it up, and then he just goes for it. All right, so let's watch Mike Johnson here.
28 cap is one of the most popular that's ever been produced. The Trump 2028 cap is one of the most popular that's ever been produced, and he has a good time with that, trolling the Democrats whose hair is on fire about the very prospect. But I do believe that we've got 3 extraordinary years ahead of us, and the 2 years of the Trump administration are going to be an incredible thing. And I don't see a way to amend the Constitution because it takes about 10 years to do that, as you all know, to allow all the states to ratify what 2/3 of the House and 3/4 of the states would approve. So I don't see the path for that, but I can tell you that we are not going to take our foot off the gas pedal. We're going to deliver for the American people, and we've got a great run ahead of us. We'll have 4 strong years. Yes.
Okay, so.
Hey, why did he say only 2 of them are Trump years? Why did he say that?
Ooh. I missed that, Dr. Hall. I missed that part. I thought he said 3.
He said we got 3 years and 2 Trump years. Is what he said. Why did he miss that? Why did he mix that up?
See, I wasn't even there with it because I was going to say that he's suggesting that, Trump, they're getting rid of him. Like, he's making it very clear. Like,
so we got to keep the foot on the gas because we got to get it done now.
That was a slip there.
Mm-hmm.
And you picked it up. I didn't even pick it up. See, that's why you on the show, Dr. Hall. Appreciate it.
Hey, earn my spot. Also, why does he get to be so incompetent? Like, why does he get to be the dude who never knows anything? They ask him straight up stuff that's happening in the world, and he'd be like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But like,
yeah,
he doesn't know. He doesn't know anything.
Know half the shit that they ask him.
You're right. Or he says, I don't know, which is like, that's the media 101, deny, right? And talk about what you want to talk about.
Right.
And also,
and I think this is important. Wait, hold on a second, because they said because the pendulum is going to switch, and I've been saying that like everybody understands. Anybody who studies political science, they understand. Anytime you go too far to one side, it always swings the other way. So Obama winning twice so far, even though he was not on the left,
and he was a Negro.
It was just the fact that he was half black and he won twice that sent that pendulum out the room.
Couldn't do it.
Okay. And they had to go to the extreme.
I've heard he was the most divisive president ever. That's what I've heard from some people.
And that's what they said. And so, but it's interesting if you kind of go back, even if you look at like the transitions between Reagan, Bush, and Clinton, still didn't go that far.
No.
It still wasn't that extreme. It really wasn't.
Yeah.
It really was. It wasn't until Bush 2 stole the election from Gore. And that we started to see, and then that whole 9/11 thing.
9/11 happened, and the war.
And then these wars, these 2 wars that we get into over nonsense, people were like, wait a minute. And then the educational policies changed. People were like, wait a minute. There was a lot of wait a minute moments with Bush that set up Obama to win.
Yes.
Right? Because if Bush had just kept on the same thing, kind of what Clinton was doing, because Clinton was, he ain't no leftist or nothing. So if he had maybe just kept on that same path that Clinton was doing,
Cheney had an agenda
into war. If he hadn't taken us into war, and then Katrina happened, right?
Cheney had an agenda, and it had to get done.
Correct. It's correct. Right. Exactly. So then that's when Obama came, it set it up for Obama to win,
to swing the
pendulum. So when Obama wins, he's a little conservative at first. Second time he's elected, then the gloves come off. He's like, well, I'm gonna,
let's do some stuff. Let's get some stuff
and
done.
then they were like, absolutely not. We got to go the other way.
Y'all gonna get this healthcare. Y'all gonna get this healthcare.
So that is what is about to happen. And I do think we are going to see a bit of a blue wave next week and just the different elections that are happening. I do think that I think that Mamdani is going to win New York. And I wasn't so sure, but Cuomo is making stupid mistakes. Like, and I'm just speaking as, whatever, releasing AI videos and focusing on the Islamophobia.
It's working for the president. It's working for the president.
But it's not going to work. It didn't work in New York, And then Eric Adams drops out. Now, Sliwa, he's got until Friday to drop out because, come on. He is a spoiler for Cuomo. If he drops out, Cuomo gets those votes. So it's actually in Mamdani's best interest that Sliwa stays in so that, he can steal some of those votes from Cuomo. But I think he's going to win. Jersey, I'm unsure of. Jersey has Ciccatelli. I just call him Ciccatelli. And I'm like, who gives a shit? And then Mikey Sherrill, who's a loser. And we got to vote for Mikey Sherrill because even though she's a loser, nobody wants Ciccatelli. Okay. But they're neck and neck. Hello, they're neck and neck.
Too close for comfort.
They're neck and neck. That's what we call them. I'm not even going to say it. I'm trying to stay mountain, I would like to.
You've been doing good tonight.
I thought
You've been doing great tonight. You've been doing great.
All right.
So far, you haven't crossed the line. Keep it up.
So, but Steve Bannon has been telling anybody who listened that the third term is going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Steve Bannon has not stopped being a political strategist for the party since he was in the House. He learned that he could do a better job outside the House.
All right. So we have a very interesting story. This is rare. This is a rare one. And I'm going to issue a bit of a trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
Because it involves, harming of children. We're going to talk about it for about a little less than 10 minutes if you want to come back. But I think it's important. All right. So we have a Black family annihilator.
Oh, no.
And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because this is a Black man named Wellington Dickens III. Now, first of all, Wellington Dickens III.
That's a name.
That's legacy. That's name. I'm very interested in that. He's charged with 4 counts of murder for 3 of his biological children and an 18-year-old stepchild. Johnston County deputies said they found human remains in the trunk of a car and a 3-year-old who was alive inside the house at the time they responded to the call. He confessed to this. He called them and confessed to this.
Turned himself in.
Friends, he said they've been dead since May 1st.
Jeez.
And the remains have been in the trunk and in the house. He had the baby living with this.
Yeah, 3-year-old. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to show you all something because it's still a thing. And let me get rid of this part. Yeah. Hold on.
It's tragic.
This story, and here's why this is important. Okay. I want you all to kind of see this. Okay. This is him. And I want you to notice what this says right here. Widowed. Right? Because my first question was, where's their mama? Where's the mama? And so that oldest one, it seems, is a stepchild. So she probably had that child when they got together, when they got married. And then they had 4 more kids because it's 5 altogether. Remember, the baby's still alive. This is his Facebook page. He's still up. I just want you to see that in August 11th. Okay, so the children were killed in May. In August, he posts a Dragon Ball Z picture, like a picture of him wearing Dragon Ball Z shirt. And then his nephew, Charles Moore. Now, mind you, Charles Moore is reported as somebody, as his great uncle in the news. They said that he had talked to him and that everything was fine. Everything seemed okay. So of course I go and find out. He said the last time they talked that everything was okay. This is what they're talking about. So he said, hello, nephew. He says, hi there, Unc. How are you and the fam? It's been a while since I had a Coke, let alone Coke in the glass and peanuts. That combination is amazing. That was 11 weeks ago. These babies were dead. Oh, yes, he's black. I'm sorry. I thought I was clear. I'm sorry. No. I thought I was clear that he was a black family annihilator because I was talking about how rare it is. So this was the picture he posted, okay? And if we look, he has a lot of love. Somebody said, oh, damn. And he's like, bro, my locks were thinning. So he used to have locks and he cut his locks, okay? And talking about, we got that family, no doubt. You know, there's a lot of comments where it seems like he was getting support for being, you know, a single dad, right? All right. So I just wanted to share this one. This is the This is him, loving dad. Now this is from 2024, so that's probably the baby that's still alive. These were the others. Happy children.
Trying to get up. We're trying to get up the car on the slide.
Happy baby. So I wanted to show that because I wanted to honor these babies and his lives. But in his videos with his children, it looks like he loved these kids, right? He's very, you know, whatever. One more thing I gotta tell you. This is a war veteran.
Yep.
People said that he wasn't right. Something was wrong when he came, ever since he came back. We might be dealing with, you know, severe mental health issues, Dr. Hart.
It is likely.
He's a widow. He cut his legs. War veteran, PTSD.
Likely, yes.
Likely. This, you know, could possibly have that. And he reported it.
He reported himself.
They were 18, 10, 9, and 6. So those were the children that we saw. Yeah, it was in the park in that video.
18 months was the 18.
Huh?
The
18-year-old. 18-year-old. Yeah, so it was an 18-year-old stepchild. And then the biological were 10, 9, and 6. And then the baby, that's 3. Like I said, that video was from 2024 in the summer, probably a year and a half ago. The baby, you know, baby was 3, whatever. They found the 3-year-old son unharmed in the house when they responded, as he called them. So the baby's 3 now.
Yeah.
So he's been taking care of the baby. Again, August 11th, he had posted himself wearing a Dragon Ball Z shirt with his locks cut and was engaging friends and family. Okay, I have a question. None of these people realized that the kids weren't around anymore.
One of the articles that I read said the neighborhood had not noticed that the kids weren't playing outside anymore. They had not. They had kind of like, now that it was one of those, now that you say it, I hadn't seen the kids outside in a while.
He's got 91 friends on Facebook. And he doesn't, he posts, I mean, I'm not a friend, so I don't know if he posts some things friends only, but he doesn't seem to post as much. In January, he updated his profile picture. He had locks. I went through, somebody was asking him how he was doing these days. And he was like, okay, just trying to live life the best I know how. Letting them know that he moved to Zebulon. Whatever. And it's, you know, they were kind of talking about, you know, how they're up and down, just surviving or what have you. And so I don't think this man was
His
well.
wife died. He was not well.
He's not well. Family annihilators generally kill their children when they believe they can no longer take care of them. And I have posited, Dr. Hall, you could correct me because you're the guy. I mean, I've done some of this work too. What do I know? But you're also the guy right now.
You might be a professional.
One of the, I feel like, or I think that they don't want the children to live. Like if they're, because everybody's always like, well, why don't they just kill themselves? And I was like, well, if they take their own lives, then the kids still live on as legacy, and they are struggling in the aftermath of this death. And that is still a reminder that that this man failed as a man. He took the easy way out, right? Yeah. I've always posited that family annihilators kill their children because they don't want evidence of their failures. When they have severe debt, right? A lot of times we find out that the men were deep in debt, like gambling issues, whatever, lost their job, all that kind of stuff, right? They kill the kids, and they try to kill everybody because they don't want anybody living to tell the story of how dad failed.
Yeah, yeah.
It's shame. If the wife died or his wife died, and she died, and it couldn't have been that long ago because the baby
died in 2024. She died of pregnancy complications in 2024.
Oh, they must have lost another one then, because that one that they have here was so she died and he lost another baby.
Yeah.
In 2024. And he's a war veteran, and he's doing this by himself. He's got 5 kids.
And to add to your thesis, child services had been involved with the family multiple times over the years, and he was not cooperative with that process, and frequently would not let them into the home. Was arrested at some point for not complying to a judge's orders. She had the wife had pregnancy complications in the past and refused doctor's orders. So likely there was a lot of like pride and or an avoidance of shame in how he felt he should raise his family, versus not wanting support, not wanting help in doing that.
He has a video of the youngest baby from September 2024, and the caption is "Shout out to the dead." And the baby is dancing with him. And then somebody, some people are responded now, they're responding from this. But like, I don't know. People were responding to it because they didn't check out the date and they thought that maybe he was posting or whatever. Because, Black people don't read shit. But yeah. So anyway, it was a very sad situation. Of course. So somebody asked why this call. Likely some, when there is a death, like one of the parents died, sometimes they will send out social services to make sure that everything is okay, especially guys.
Yeah. But no, social service was called out in 2016 because one of the babies was jaundiced.
Oh, okay. Well, they love to do the jaundice thing with Black people. That would make me upset too. I could understand being uncooperative if they're coming out for bullshit. And jaundiced babies, that excuse. Yeah. But let me just say, like that reason that CPS will use does not happen with white babies as much, right? That is one of the ways, the entryways they come in to take Black children is to claim jaundice and therefore claim neglect. So a lot of Black parents are very skeptical of CPS because of things like this. All right, what else you got from that?
Oh, so it was tied to they had gone to the hospital for care, but then she refused and left against doctor's orders, left the hospital, and then did not return for a follow-up appointment. And then social services came regarding jaundice, and he was arrested for not letting them see the child.
Okay.
And then he sued in 2018, claiming that they violated his rights, but the lawsuit was dismissed. So.
Okay. What could have been abusive with her, right? We don't know. But it's a tragedy. It's a very, very tragic story.
We don't know all the details. It is.
We don't know all the details, but we do know that this is a man who confessed to killing 4 of his children. He must have got the 18-year-old first, and then took out the younger ones. But we don't have any information about how or anything like that. Okay, so
no information on how, just that he did it and he admitted to doing it. And
yeah. Okay, all right. So we have a quick Trey Reid update, and then we're going to talk about some stuff that you were kind of thinking about earlier. I'm going to keep this story going. I feel like people have just stopped talking about it because they can no longer do the he was lynched thing, because it's actually, there's more questions than answers. And so after rushing to saying that, whatever. So Mississippi Today, this was published on the 24th, saying that the family is still awaiting the results of the independent autopsy, right? And there is a man, Jeremy Markel Bridges, who claims to be an activist from Alabama, and said he's been in recent contact with Trey Reed's mother, Sophia, and Ben Crump. And he said this week that Crump needed more time to complete a reenactment as part of the independent investigation. And then Crump did not specify when that would be complete. And this is in response to the questions now, why haven't you all released this this independent autopsy? They also received the toxicology report. Now, remember with some of our early reporting, we were saying that the family was waiting for a toxicology report.
Yes.
They received that a few weeks ago, have not released that information.
No words. Yes.
No words on that.
And the lawyer on the case has not put any updates. He's typically one of those people who's at the front of many of these sort of injustice causes. And while on his Facebook page, he does have the day he took the case, there's been no other word.
There's been no other word. Right.
Yeah.
Bridges also claimed that the state crime lab was late supplying Reed's organs and x-ray imagery to Nebraska pathologist Dr. Matthias Okoye, who the family retained to conduct the independent autopsy. Now, where does the family live?
Where do they live?
I don't know. Because I know he was in school in Mississippi. He said he was from Grenada, Mississippi. So the family's in Mississippi. Why are they hiring Dr. Matthias Okoye? I pulled up his thing. He is president and CEO of the Nebraska Institute of Forensic Sciences. He's associate professor of forensic pathology at Creighton University School of Medicine in Omaha, Nebraska. He is Nigerian. He's been at George Washington. He's a consultant forensic pathologist, all these kinds of things. So I'm trying to figure out the connection, because this is a dude in Nebraska. How do they have this guy from Nebraska? Like, why? There's no Mississippi that they could have hired. Or is this someone that maybe is on retainer with Crump?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. But they're saying that the lab was late with supplying. But then the medical examiner, they confirmed that the remains were actually at the funeral home. So this person, Bridges, has been kind of making up things, not necessarily making up, but has not been telling the truth, because they don't have any information, but they claim to be speaking on behalf of the family, which is reckless because they have retained legal counsel. We talked about this last time, how the mother really just wants any attention to stay on it. So she's been, she tried to tell people we don't have this stuff, while at the same time kind of supporting the people who are making stuff up, which is a very weird thing that's going on. I'm not judging her because she lost her son, and that is what it is, but it's causing some confusion for folks. But this guy, this activist who claims to be close to the family and claims to have seen the results of the autopsy, is maintaining this idea that that he had all this blunt force trauma and broken leg. He's still maintaining this, but there is no there's no autopsy report being released yet. And
not yet. Yeah.
The press keeps asking. Like I said, the last thing he said is that they're doing an independent investigation. It revealed injuries sustained from a recent attack by white male students, but he did not provide any proof as of Friday.
Yeah.
So how do you know that it was white males that beat him up?
We do not know.
Security footage from campus is still with law enforcement agencies and can't be shared due to the active nature of the investigation, according to the university. So did you see footage of white males doing this? So again, as this person, I just think it's irresponsible to be spreading these things without any proof and documentation.
Right.
That's just not fair. It's just not right. And again, this story has fallen out of the public, discourse,
eye.
but I'm
Yeah.
keeping it going because I'm following this. I want to see this to the end. If the parents, if they had an independent thing done,
What does it say?
what did it say?
Right.
Why aren't you releasing this? Why wasn't there a press conference? Where's Benjamin Crump in this? And Benjamin Crump don't let nothing go if he's really with it. So I'm speculating here, and I'm wrong. I could.
Allegedly. I
got to put the banner on because I'm not getting in trouble. Dr. Hall, I think that he knows that,
Yeah.
Like,
we won't know until we know.
We won't know until we know.
I mean,
All
this
right.
is what key and what we were trying to say here is that we want to await the results before we start jumping to certain conclusions.
Because the medical examiner's office received the toxicology report on September 26th. Those results have been given to the family, but the Department of Public Safety has not publicly released them. So again, the family has access to the toxicology report.
We have data.
We have data. They haven't come out and said, we got the toxicology report and it shows that he didn't have no drugs in his system, no alcohol, anything, because they're the perfect victim mentality, right? And so the families tend to release anything that is affirmative and it kind of supports, what's going on. I don't know. But again, we had the friend of his that was observing him the night before said he did not look good. There was stuff going on with him. So who knows? He might have been drinking. He could have been using drugs, whatever it was. He seemed angry at whatever was happening.
Yeah, he was very upset.
We don't know. There was a lot going on. That's what we do know.
Right.
And even this guy that was, witness to this said that he's bothered by how social media has been talking about, lynching when it points to something more mental health related. So I'm going to listen to the people that were there and not the activists that are claiming to know the family and having had access to things that even the family didn't have yet.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying, Dr. Hall. I'm just saying
Let's
that
just wait and see.
We have to wait, and we're going to keep following this. So, I'm going to try to have updates each time we do this. All right. So just, we're going to close out with you. You had some thoughts on some things, and we figure we might be able to flesh it out with the.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about this as I consider sort of where we are, particularly like I work a lot in academic spheres. We've had this thing in Ohio called SB1 where they essentially banned DEI and cultural related anything that's not a course that you teach cannot be sort of promoted by the university in any cultural identity. And how this is very much still like this return to the essentially what was once the status quo, that these programs and fields didn't exist. And so they're being essentially delegitimized. And to do that, they're using the language of equality, right? The language that was pioneered by abolitionists and Black feminists and the people who struggled against the status quo and the way this nation was built. And so the thought I've been trying to coalesce around is they stole that language from us to use against us. The very institutions we were trying to take down, they've co-opted our language to do so. And so it's essentially just like color blindness with a new color. And trying to say that we shouldn't essentially have the gains that we had because it's operating from the zero-sum place that white supremacy often operates from. If you have a little, that means you've taken it from a white person. And one of the things that I was thinking is that in order to continue to thrive and to be resilient, we have to continue doing what we've always done, which is to be creative, to be expansive in the way we teach humanity about itself. And so we can't let this essentially warp our progress, even though so much of what's happened even in the last 10 months has been about trying to survive in a world where things are constantly changing and constantly in flux because the people in power are using that power against us. We have to essentially make like a quantum leap in the lexicon. So it's we created that language. They can't create new language around this. They're just stealing our language. So we have to just keep the language versatile. We have to keep moving so fast that they can't keep up. And we are capable of that. We always have been. We've always been creative in that way. And so it's how do we remember that so that we're not constantly just playing defense? Our offense is our creativity. Our offense is our resilience. And how do we achieve that in spite of a system that it's just turn the machine back on to be against us.
What was your dissertation on?
My dissertation was on affirmative action. Is affirmative action American? So I looked at how affirmative action, support for affirmative action, would it align with American values around like hard work and bootstraps and colorblind values. And we essentially found that if someone believed in America very strongly and believed in colorblindness, they would not support affirmative action, even though if you look at the way affirmative action is spelled out, it is about equality and equity and making sure that everyone gets a shot. And so people who believe America should be this place where people get their opportunities and their shot also believe, if they believe strongly in America and American equality, they will also not believe that African Americans or people who are not majority white Christian should get any advantage whatsoever.
Yes. That 100% makes sense. And that is the Clarence Thomas, that's his position. Black nationalist Clarence Thomas. That was his position then, and it's still his position now. And it leads like the Black nationalist to conservative pipeline is a real thing. It's a very real thing. But because the way the conversations that I have, because of the extremists. So I was recently on a flight coming back. Shout out to the Black women organized for political action. I got to speak there in Oakland. Shout out to the people that came out to see me. A couple of folks from the chat, thank you, did come out to see me and to hang out with me for a little bit. But I was on this flight coming back, and it was a red eye. I really wanted to go to sleep, but I was seated next to a Black elder male whose life story is like, I need to write a book. I need to write his book because I mean, he was like a right hand to Elijah Muhammad. He played football in Michigan. He went to Wharton. Like he went to Canada and started Afro-American something. It was an effort to get Black people to leave the United States and go to Canada. Like, this man has done so much. But I'm talking to him, and he said, I totally understand that Black nationalist to conservative pipeline. He's like, because he's like, I went to Wharton after serving after Elijah Muhammad. He's like, it's very easy. He said, it's because of the extremes that can happen. There's a divergence. He said, I went this way. I wanted Barry Goldwater to win because I thought that would start the revolution. He said, so I was pushing kind of this conservative stuff to convince, do it so that I can get my people to rebel. And then there's the people that would go and vote for Barry Goldwater just because he's whatever, right?
Well, it gets your proximity to whiteness.
There's nuance there, right?
Yeah.
And so what I'm hearing you talk about, I'm hearing you talk about a society that has completely lost touch with what it means to be a human being.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're talking millennia of this, but I mean, just kind of, if we think the last 1,000 years of colonization, right? Almost started around 1300. We'll go back to 1300.
Yeah.
The last about almost 800 years of colonization, that has distorted all of us and our ways of being, right? Yes. All the people that are currently racialized come from people who had communal ways of being and, and rejected patriarchy and all this stuff like that. We're talking we're talking a society where we've come to accept that certain people are less valuable than others.
There has to be a hierarchy.
Like we accept it. Like we not only accept it, we defend it, Dr. Hall.
We need it.
Right?
Yeah.
We need it, right?
Yeah.
So it is no surprise then that we see people kind of engaging in politics the way that they do right now. And I think what you were talking about, it made me think about the reaction to me calling out AOC. We had all these progressive white people who were mad at me and talking about the left always eats itself and all this kind of stuff. Like, they're mad at me for calling this out because for them, this is all play acting. This is cosplay. This is a fun little
tribalism
thing to do. the No King Stay, and we show that, and we wear,
performative.
Performative. Because at the core, folks have lost their understanding of other people's humanity. When you talk about them erasing these things from these institutions, these departments and stuff like that, again, my two departments, race and gender, right? Culture and gender. They're trying to get rid of these fields, like completely get rid of them, right?
As if there's no reason to ever study those things.
As if there's no reason, right?
In a global economy.
Right.
What are you talking about?
That's why everybody's stupid now.
Right.
Because they try to get rid of the humanities, and that's why everybody lacks empathy and is so damn stupid, and they can't read worth a damn. I'm seeing what you're talking about, like this erasure that we have, kind of going back to what they believe the order should be.
Absolutely.
When we talked earlier about them allowing the immigrants come in to whiten the country, like that was an intentional act.
Yeah.
It worked for a while.
And
they were able to get some on their side, but there are a lot of immigrants that kind of intermingled with us, right? Which they didn't want.
Never.
And then when they opened the doors, they let in the other people too. That they didn't expect that. They didn't expect that all those people would want to also come from the South. So they did. They weren't prepared for that. And it's like, wait, those people actually want representation in our institutions.
No, why? No.
That's not why you're here.
That's not why you created them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that they've identified a moment in American history that they would like to get back to.
Yes.
And to do so, they have to start destabilizing the institutions that uphold the current society.
Yes.
So we're talking the provision of medical care, healthcare. We're talking about housing. We're talking about employment. We're talking about education. We're talking about all these institutions that now uphold American society as it is.
Yeah.
Have to be dismantled in order for us to go back.
Yeah, but like when you think about going back, like we ran to a depression, right? And you created all these New Deal policies to get people to work, to essentially get the government to fund the people, because like when you talk about going backwards, you're also talking about essentially finding yourself running aground into all the things that essentially would have destroyed the nation 100 years ago. So it's like there's this weird kind of like you forget how bad the past was. And now we are a part of our problem now, I think, is that we are too comfortable as a nation. We've built this really nice facade that makes it seem like we have all these supports, when I think one of the lessons we should have taken from COVID that we definitely didn't is that this nation is genuinely propped up. Like even the corporations are 2 paychecks away from getting kicked out of their leases. And so we've been able to lie to ourselves for so long that nobody is uncomfortable enough to actually enact change, except for those people who played the genuine long game and said, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that all these advancements. And I always think of like, if you look at the history of like horse jockeys, Black people joined into the field of horse jockeys, started killing it like we do whenever we join something. Every
sport they try to keep us from. As soon as we get access to it, we dominate.
Yeah. And they were like, never again. So they started enacting all these things to keep Black people out, right? And that's a thing that sort of comes up in history a lot. Like whenever Black people get an inch, they're like, nope, we need to take the nation 2 steps back to make sure that doesn't happen again. Because there are some people that to a visceral level, you couldn't have told me this in 1990 because I believed so much in the advancements that we had made, or in the early 2000s. Like, no, we're doing pretty good. These things are propped up by infrastructure that will maintain. But if you look at 2025, like, no, the whatever you thought was underneath the foundations of these established cultural movements, it ain't really there, because one dude can come in and knock it down like he could an entire East Wing of the White House, right? Like, if he wants to, he could just say, no, my mandate is you are free to get rid of those things that you only did to make a few people happy. And that the nation will be like, yeah, sure, actually, why were we giving them any quarter? They shouldn't have had it.
Right. Because they're willing to sacrifice.
Right.
Us, right? The same way that you see how they're willing to sacrifice transgender people, right? That's across the board.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Kamala Harris did it. Kamala Harris they threw trans people totally in front of the bus and ran over them 18 times.
That made me feel weird.
non-binary people, they
It's
really
strange. Why are you doing that? Why are you being different?
It's low-hanging fruit. It's people that most of the country will agree that they make them uncomfortable. So I don't have empathy for them, and therefore I don't really need to put my neck out on the line for those people. Go ahead and take them. I'd rather you take them than you take me.
But it always ends up with.
But then when they're gone, who's next? Because now there's you got the low-hanging fruit there.
Yeah.
Who's the ones right above that? Because they're still climbing up this tree because they want to get to the top.
Right.
And so they're climbing up the tree. We've gotten rid of the transgender fruit.
Right.
Who's next?
Right.
Immigrants. Got to get rid of the immigrant fruits. That's a lot of shaking, even though it's the immigrants that are picking our fruits, right?
Right.
Let's get rid of that.
Right.
And then who's next?
Well,
and
the brown
that's
people are getting really uppity. So let's go ahead and get rid of them.
And that's the thing that's like, when I look in these institutions, just talking now about the enrollment, right? They were talking about how enrollment is down. Let me see if I can find the excuse me. It was a Washington Post piece. Let's see, enrollment.
The enrollment of African Americans was down.
Yeah.
Across the board in most higher institutions, except for like one or two. Yeah.
Okay. I had there was images of it that was a comparison, kind of looking at, it's on my phone. But anyway, so
the difference between
enrollment
2025,
enrollment of African Americans and Latino Americans, which there's a lot of overlap, is down. Yeah. And they were looking at 20 colleges. I'm sorry, what?
It's abysmal. It's like really low.
Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can share this myself. But anyway, I remember when people first started talking about this, Dr. Hall, because they were talking about, what's the admissions and stuff. I said, well, you have to look at admissions and enrollment a little bit different, because admissions lets us know that there's, stuff with them allowing them in, even giving them an opportunity. So we want to look at that. But we also want to look at enrollment, because there is a gap between admission and enrollment.
And then another gap between graduation. Yeah.
Listen, even getting there is something.
Right.
But I was thinking a lot about, okay, here we go. I think I should be able to show it. I was thinking a lot about this because I often talk about enrollment of Black students in college, particularly this growing gap, this dearth of African American students, right? Outside of HBCUs, which only enroll 9% of Black students. Okay, I need people to understand this. So we talk about HBCUs a lot. There's over 100 of them. They're spread primarily throughout the Southeast. There's a couple in Pennsylvania, things like that, but mostly the Southeast. Mason-Dixon down, right? And that we always talk about Black people going and all the homecoming pride. A lot of conversations about homecoming lately, all these kinds of things. Prior to affirmative action, 91% of Black college students were enrolled in HBCUs. Then affirmative action comes and complete shift
over the buildings.
We now have access to these institutions. In fact, in the late 70s, you had the highest percentages of Black enrollment at a lot of these schools, particularly the Ivy Leagues. If you go and look at the percentage of Black students that were at Penn and Columbia and Harvard and stuff like that in the 70s, and compare it to now, a number of them, you're going to see a decline. Okay.
Right.
So now only 9% of Black students go to HBCUs, and they are primarily African American. Let's be very clear about this. Now, there are an increasing number of first gens that are going, particularly to places like Spelman and Howard and what they consider the top HBCUs, but it's still primarily African American.
Right.
That means that a lot of the other Black students at these schools are either foreign born or first generation. I know that 20% are actually foreign born. They're not from the United States. And then I think there's another either fifth or quarter that are like first gen, that identify as first gen. That is huge, right? Other thing, because we know affirmative action was set up to rectify the effects of chattel slavery on people in this country, right? So we can't lose sight of that. Like, the point It was supposed to be a form of reparations, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what they've done, though, is they are pushing African Americans out and satisfying their quotas with first-gen and foreign-born Black students, and we're seeing an increase in this. Unfortunately, a lot of those students have parents who come in with a mentality that they think that African Americans are lazy. We don't need this affirmative action stuff. We don't need all this other stuff. You just got to work hard and you're fine. And my kid did it and your lazy ass did it. And it kind of, so they kind of uphold this thing that you're talking about, because they will not allow their children to major in African American studies or history or women's studies or sociology. No, you're going to be an engineer, a doctor, business, lawyer, whatever. So for that group, maintaining this stuff is not necessarily a priority. There was a Nigerian woman who has been recently being dragged through the social medias who once said she didn't understand why people majored in African American studies or sociology. Those are my two majors as an undergrad, by the way. Again, kind of reflecting that mentality.
It's what she's been taught.
So for a lot of us, because I'm all about the diaspora, we don't care if those things get cut, which supports their agenda, right?
Yeah.
Because what ends up happening is that the Black folks are just going to go to the schools that have the best engineering programs, things like that. That's all they care about.
Right.
So who cares, right? Then the system, the institutions shift, but the people who are getting priority access to it don't actually care about that much. As somebody who has been in this field for, gosh, Dr. Hall, we're almost going on 30 years of me studying this stuff, right? I know I was ridiculed for this. First-gen students were not majoring in no African, well, except for my friend Simone, whose parents were Jamaican, but she was raised in the Bronx. Like, come on. But that was not.
Yeah, no. I almost got a minor in African American studies. Yeah, I almost got a minor in African American studies, and I was told essentially, why would you do that? And it was like, well, why would I do that? You're right. Maybe I won't. And didn't.
Yeah. It's not like, you're right. Like if we call this out and we speak on these things, they'll say that we're being xenophobic. And I'm like, no, I'm not. My grandfather's not from here. My grandfather's actually born to Jamaican parents, and he was grew up in Panama. It's not, I'm not coming
You're not against a group, any group.
I'm not against any group. I want everybody to have access. It's not like I'm saying get rid of those students and put the African Americans back in. I'm saying allow both. But because of the way the quotas work and the way these institutions have been working, like you said, over the years, they have limited our ability to make change. I hate, Dr. Hall, when I hear Black people say, oh, we're going to go in and we're going to change things from the inside.
Change things from the inside.
Please show me one example. One example of Black people infiltrating the system and bringing about change, tangible, long-standing change for the rest of us. It has not happened in the United States.
It has not happened in the United States. But we're fed the idea that we could, if we could just get in. I mean, there's something about to be said for being outside and wanting a seat at the table. That there's a I'll say nobility to that, but the reality is the system protects itself, and it will protect itself.
Yeah, and there will be those of us who will uphold it, right, as it tries to correct itself, because they won't think that they're going to get caught up in it, just like the Latinos for Trump, who never thought they were going to get deported. So here's what we have. So this is what we have. Black freshman enrollment fell at selective colleges after affirmative action. So they're talking about selective schools in terms of like, how many people they accept. So they picked out, some schools that are pretty selective. So you've got Columbia, Harvard, Emory, but then you've also got schools like Haverford, smaller schools like Williams and Wellesley, Swarthmore, and things like that. That's interesting with the Wellesley and Swarthmore, because those are all women's schools. Those are women's colleges. And so they actually had significant drops. If you look, there's for Swarthmore, 8.92% Black enrollment in 2023, down to 5.4. In Wellesley, 9% down to 5. That's a 4-point drop.
And it does raise the question, because it doesn't say the makeup of those Black students, because as you just identified, sometimes who they identify as Black students also means international or African descent or you know,
biracial or Latino or
or
all these
Indian.
different things.
Technically, some Indians fall under Black students. So
Where?
the idea that, no, I mean,
What?
depending on how they count their numbers, yes. Because I remember being in a college meeting and seeing a paper that said they had X number of Black students, and I was like, where on this campus? But I found out that they were counting Indian-born students as Black students. Yes, like anyone who could come from a nation that was considered having Black skin, brown skin was considered under the Black. It was the weirdest. It blew my mind, and I was like, really, y'all counting these numbers for real? Because that ain't the representation that I see. So I mean, but
wait, no. Answering the question is, answering the question like who was able to infiltrate the system and make a significant change. Thurgood Marshall. No, I'm not going to allow for that. He was on the Supreme Court. The court had to do that. He didn't do it just by himself.
He had to convince
the whole court, and a lot of the stuff that was going on was Lyndon Johnson, which is also a fascinating thing. But I hear what you're saying, kind of, but no, that doesn't count because then what significant changes did he make in that system, right? Like
he didn't change the system itself. He just helped.
Yeah, he didn't change the system itself.
Use the system to make change. Yep.
Like, look at the system that we're currently in. He didn't change the same way Ketanji Brown Jackson won't change shit.
No.
You know, like, wow. Okay. So, but I just wanted us to look at this because these are significant drops. Columbia was 20% down to 13. That's 7%.
Who would have thought?
And then Harvard was 18% down to 11.5. But the point that I have to make is that, again, enrollment is not the same as admission. So I said I wanted to see the admissions numbers and I wanted to see the enrollment numbers. One of the things they pointed out was that Black students had not applied as much. And so obviously with the fall of affirmative action, there was some people who were just like, I ain't getting in there. I'm not going to bother.
Right. Who,
you know,
or maybe
I'm afraid to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Will I feel welcome in that space?
Will I feel welcomed in that space? It's already bad enough, especially the Ivy League is already pretentious and a hellscape as it is. But now I have no affirmative action protections.
Yeah.
I have no DEI protections. Why would I subject myself to that? And they were interviewing some students at Princeton. I teach at Princeton over the summer. And it's really interesting. Like the culture has definitely changed there. Because I used to go to school down the street in Lawrenceville. And so this one woman, she said her brother came to visit and they had been walking around for 2.5 hours, you know, with stuff like that. And he's like, where are the Black men? They hadn't seen a single Black man on campus in 2.5 hours of walking around. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's Princeton. It sounds just like Princeton. Because first of all, the Black women are outnumbering Black men in college like 3 to 1 anyway. But definitely looking at the Ivy League, it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is all intentional. So yes, the question is how much of it is related to expense? That is a very good thing because here's the thing. Here's the conundrum. For Black students in this country, the children that are going to do, the students that are going to do the best, that are going to get the highest grades and all those kinds of things are more likely to come from families that are in the class that can afford to support them and make sure that they, you know, they're going to these private schools, they're going to these special high schools, they're getting all this kind of support, SAT support, all this kind of stuff they're getting from their families, right? Which means they're not going to qualify for the stuff, the people that are getting the free tuition. So most of the schools, it's $100,000 or less, right? Hold on, it's $100,000 or less, you get free tuition or whatever. They recently increased it to $200,000. Okay, but that's not the full package, but you still get like free tuition and possibly some other stuff. The schools have been doing that for a while. But a lot of these kids that are doing that well are coming from families that are making over $200,000 a year, right? So even though they're making that, doesn't mean that they can afford to pay full price to go to Harvard, which is like $100,000 a year, right? So they're kind of stuck in that place. So they need the scholarships. And you see them applying and getting it. And you see, and for me, having just gone through this, Dr. Hall, a lot of the students are getting multiple scholarships. The same student is getting multiple prestigious scholarships, whereas other students are being locked out of it. So you see all these young people, whenever I see them not flirting, like I got into these college and I got $4 million in scholarships. I'm like, no, baby, that's not good. Because that's $4 million that could have, you know, that some of that could have gone to these other students, right? And so you start seeing it's the same students over and over that are getting those, right? So they're stuck. So enrollment, affordability, leaving home, safety. Yeah, I got into Harvard. I can tell everybody I got into Harvard, but I live in Tennessee.
Am I ready?
I'm not ready to go up there.
To Boston, all the way to Boston.
It's very scary. Okay.
It is.
And I'm in these groups and I've been seeing, the way they are. Dr. I can't tell you how many students have dropped out already.
It's
like every day.
We're in October. Yep. No,
it's every day.
They come home for Thanksgiving and they ain't going back.
Every day there are several posts. I went to go get my kid.
No, I work at a college. They don't make it 6 weeks. Some of them don't make it the midterms.
Yeah. And so the enrollment, I want to see the admission to enrollment stats. That's what I really want to see, because that's where a lot of the issue is. Okay. Enrollment, they're like, I said, no, we need to see admissions, because admissions is about the institutional system, right? And how that, since affirmative action, how that plays.
Right.
Enrollment is just who's able to make it and who can afford it and who can, do all those things. So, like you're saying, we see all over how they're trying to push us back to that moment, whatever that moment is.
Where there are just fewer of you around and fewer of you in these high status places, because it bothers some people on a visceral level to see us achieve. And one of the things that I take away from it is, because the door was open for so long, and because so many of us, I mean, yourself included, sort of benefited from the last 5 years of DEI and these other programs where they did say, hey, this was important. There are a lot more of us that got through the door than say
that we're supposed
to. So there's a pushback against that, but that does mean there's a lot more experts now who, I was just talking to someone today in the academic system and saying, I mean, maybe you should consider going into consulting. Like, maybe we shouldn't all be on these ships propping them up. We should take all these skills we've learned and start building our own space. And so many people get afraid of that. And yet, like, if they're firing, 300,000 Black women, like, we should at least have like 10,000 entrepreneurs grow out of that, as opposed to feeling like you got to get back into the system and keep doing what they say. Because, like, what are we doing out here? And I say that as a person who jumped ship himself.
And that's a tension, though, right? That's definitely a tension that a lot of Black women, especially like we're talking about, are dealing with. It's like, because for some time, Black women had the fastest entrepreneurial growth rate, right? Like there was like something like there was 1 year like 1.3 million Black women had started a business or something like that. So we have that, but then the support that we rely on comes from our communities who do not always have it to support us. And it's very difficult for us to take our businesses that we start and then branch out into other communities where the money is. And unfortunately, a lot of Black women kind of get stuck within their community and their friends' churches and things like that. And they're not able to take it to that next level to earn the money that they would need to be able to do that. So yes, it is very stable, especially if you're a single mom, which many of us are. And it's a lot of times it's much more stable to have that 9 to 5 that provides that health insurance for you and your family, gets that steady paycheck, et cetera, et cetera. That's what's comfortable. But like you said, again, they made it like that.
Right.
They made it so that, a Black woman who just was one of the 318,000 that lost their job has to want to scramble to find another one rather than look at her situation and say, maybe I can do this on my own. No, we don't need you to do shit on your own. We need you to get your ass back to work and be reminded. And now you're going to be even more grateful for this job. Right? Because and don't be somebody who lost it in February and then you got on Snap and now they're about to cut your Snap. Get your ass back to work is what they're saying.
I have to wonder, like, if things keep collapsing the way they do, and it's kind of like they are treating Black people as like, we don't care what you do. I mean, we care what you do, but like, we also don't care about you. Like, don't cross certain lines. Like, will there come a point where we will have to huddle up more amongst ourselves and build more of that community? And in that could rise, once again, we've got a lot of experts now that we did not have 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, in a variety of fields. Like, I tend to be the guy who believes like we can build our own things. We can make our own stake. And I'm also the guy who talks to a lot of people who terrified the minute I say that, because it's like, well, what am I going to do about healthcare? What am I going to do about the rent that's due next week? And it's like, I understand those are real realities.
My perpetual.
Right. Those are real realities, but also you can build a thing. And if you build it right and you build it well, everybody ain't built to be entrepreneurs, but if you could just line up with people within your interest, maybe we can build more of our own silos upon which we can, save ourselves But it's the idea that we have to live, and we have to recognize the agility and creativity within us, that these systems were never built for us. They were removed more than we ever thought that they could be. And it was our agility and our creativity that got us to this point. And we can continue to outpace them if we devote ourselves to that.
We love whiteness too much.
Oh.
No. Sorry. I had to
I'm with you. Yeah.
One of the things I appreciate about you and kind of the work that you do and your approach to these things, was why I asked you to come on the show, because I know that you're going to think very similar to me, is that you are Afrocentric. You do focus, you center our people in everything that you're thinking about and everything that you want to do. So I have a victorious consciousness, and I'm with you on that. Like, I just went and spoke, and somebody's interested in me consulting with them to develop a school similar to, St. Coca Summer School in their community. And I'm like, yeah, because I said we need more community, more community schools. I'm willing to do that. Pay me, but I'll come and I'll help you figure this out, because we need more of that. That's definitely something I can do and I can lean into. I also just had to have a GoFundMe to cover a surgery that I had because I don't have insurance. And now they're talking about getting rid of ACA and making the premiums way beyond anything that I can afford right now, right? So what am I doing? I'm looking for a regular job. I want a full-time teaching job with health benefits stuff. I love I have an entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm a hustler. I will always do these kinds of things, but I also need stability. I got a kid in college. I need to take care of Dr. Hall. And that's where we end up going to. It's not that I love whiteness. It's not.
No.
It's that I have been raised in this capitalist society that tells me that my worth is determined by my contribution of labor, how much labor I can contribute to the society. And if I'm not contributing enough, they're not going to reward me with the right to live.
Yes.
And they're going to make it difficult, right? And so I think they're working overtime now because we got, like you said, we got too big for our britches.
Yeah.
As soon as they open the door, as soon as they open the door for us, we will bust through and we will dominate. That is exactly what has happened since 1980. I like to go back to 1980 because I just like to go where we are. From 1980 till now, we're talking 45 years. For the last 45 years, the educational achievements of both women and African Americans has been astounding. Okay, it's been out of this world. But then also it's talking higher education, right? And also Black women specifically did all this work to get into these very stable government jobs, right? And these other positions, worked hard, did everything, took off, and sometimes in some ways that Black men didn't, even though Black men still make more money than Black women, but that's okay. But they did, they did all these things, and they said, oh no, let's humble y'all.
It's too much.
Let's humble y'all. Black women are 6.5% of the population. Well, Black female-bodied people are that, and 318,000 lost jobs between February and August. It's hard not to see that as intentional, Dr. Hall.
It might be a target,
because we are the center and stability of our communities.
And
when they break us, things shatter. So if they can push Black women into desperation, push our backs against the wall, and force us into spaces where we have no choice but to do this thing that they present in front of us as what they want us to do. I keep seeing stories of women with master's degrees who are now babysitting and functioning as au pairs and doing housekeeping and things like that. I'm seeing it, Dr. Hall. It's hard for me to not see that as intentional. It's hard for me to not see that they are steering us towards this. If they go, like all this stuff talking about firing people that were furloughed and things like that, Black women are overrepresented in government jobs. They want to get rid of us. They want to shovel us into these positions to bring it back to that old way of being. Forget your education. You ain't going to school. You need to clean my house. You need to raise my kid.
I've been fascinated by how many people I know with degrees who the first thing they think when it's like, I need to make a little bit of money, I'm going to go do Uber Eats. And it's like, wait, you have a degree. Like, did you learn at any point in that process? Like, you have a lot of options. You could do consulting. You could open up a business right now where you just tell people how to do the thing you literally did at work every day. You could do, I mean, admin. I'm not saying that, driving your car to deliver food to people is like beneath you, but also like, I feel like the way they've taught us to be in this society is like so broken and
subservient. Yeah.
And subservient. Like what? Like, why is that the first thing? Like, yes, you could make money doing that, but also like you've got skills that like a large portion of this country don't have. So why is that your first? What comes to mind as the first?
Because it's immediate. It's immediate survival. It's I know I can go and do this and within a week have money in my pocket. It's because I'm talking to Black women who have been unemployed for 2 years.
Yeah.
They're like 6 months for me, 9 months for me, a year for me, 2 years for me. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like it breaks my heart to see so many sisters on like social media, just like I haven't been able to get a job in 17 months. This is debilitating. It is destroying my family. Like all these things. Yeah. If they break us, they break our community.
Yeah.
And so the attacks on DEI and stuff, first of all, that's to keep white women out. Right, because they are really mad that white women have ascended the way that they have, but they're willing to sacrifice
making babies.
They want to sacrifice the rest of us, and then so that means that Black women are again disproportionately affected by this erasure of DEI and things like that. Most look at all the top HR directors at these major companies; they're Black women primarily. Okay, we get into that position. They put us in that position.
Killing the game too much.
Yeah, they put us in the DEI spots. All of that stuff. Got rid of all of that. Got rid of all of these things to break us. And I'm, as somebody who is for the first time in her life actually having difficulty finding a job, I'm feeling it too.
Yeah.
It's like it's really hard to be like, oh my gosh, this ain't got nothing to do with me other than my identity.
Right. And a system right now that is completely apathetic to that identity. And in some ways, no, I won't say apathetic, actively hostile, passively hostile to that identity.
Yeah.
They'll never admit it. It's just the way things are.
Yeah. So they're going to keep this up, right? This is not, I mean, for one, it was all in Project 2025, but we don't have to even talk about that boogeyman. They've been working on this, like I said, the last 45 years.
Yeah.
And so
in the same fashion, like what's so interesting is it's the same racism. It's not new racism. It's not.
They lost the civil rights battle, right? And so then they pivoted to abortion and they lost that one.
Yeah.
So, they had 2 major losses back to back. So 1980 Reagan came, they said, nah, man, we gonna work to get this shit back to the way it was before we lost these things. We lost the shit to the Negroes and the women and the feminazis. Like, we got to come back. And so they've been plotting this for the last 45 years. Yeah. And they finally set it up. They didn't expect that .com shit to happen in the Clinton years and make everybody rich, because that was definitely an economic neutralizer. Folks had money in the 90s, okay?
Yeah.
That's why Atlanta looked the way it does now. Y'all are second generation New Yorkers, okay? But anyway, they were, that threw them off. The whole technology thing, they weren't planning for that, but they've adjusted to that. And then then Obama came. It was like, wait, that wasn't supposed to happen either.
Right.
So after that, they was like, we cannot lose off track. So we got to do everything that we can. And with Trump, they have been able to reverse a lot of that stuff. Reversing abortion. They're almost about to reverse the protection for voting rights. Like they are reversing everything. Get rid of DEI. They reverse affirmative action. Everything that they wanted to get done. It's undoing. It's a toppling of 1973. I still need to do a special episode for you all where I talk about the importance of 1973. But anyway, Dr. Hall, because it's getting late.
It is.
I thank you for sharing your thoughts on this. And I want people to really start thinking about this as being way more diabolical than you imagined.
Right.
You have to stop, we have to take the rose-colored glasses off. We have to peel back all of the things that we know about civility. And
there are no guardrails.
There's nothing.
There's no guardrails.
As diabolical as you can think about it, that's what it is.
Which also means there's an immense amount of freedom, right? Like, once the guardrails are removed, that means they're also removed from you. You can do whatever you want out here, not, within reason, but I think the idea that we need to keep creating, we need to keep establishing, we need to keep growing, and that we can do that even in the midst of all this. And it becomes a challenge for sure because you're in survival mode, but like keep writing, keep creating, because that's how we survive. That's how we keep shifting the narrative that it's the thing we've always been good at.
And it's hard. It's interesting. Sorry.
Got him?
No, I didn't. But
No.
it's interesting because so many of the creative people, I was just saying this myself,
Mhm.
capitalism destroys creativity.
Right.
The fact that I have to adjunct at different schools, I'm pulling together all these different things to try to have a schedule or whatever, and then to keep the income coming in so I have a roof over my house. If I'm constantly juggling all of those things, and rather than having a stable kind of, here's a schedule that I can I can make time to write. I don't have time to write. I don't have time to create. Dr. I have 8 books in Google Drives that are in various stages of completion. I want to write books. I've always wanted to write my books.
Yeah.
And now it's like I can't because
you should write your books.
Yeah, but I can't. I don't have time because there's always something else that I have to do to survive. And so there's so many people that are like me that instead of creating the beauty that makes the world a better place, we're too busy like either trying to sell that creativity, right?
Commodify it.
Commodify it in some way. Speaking of which, there's the merch. Go buy the merch.
There you go. Buy the merch.
We're gonna have new wrapping papers dropping.
Hey, just in time for Christmas.
Just in time for Christmas, we're gonna have some wrapping paper. But anyway, people trying to monetize their creativity, trying to do, like you said, be entrepreneurial. It's like, yeah, I have this skill. Let me try to do that. But then again, we undervalue artistry. We undervalue the writers and the painters and things like that. We don't want to pay people for the art that we enjoy. We complain about paywalls, but it's like, all right, these are journalists. They work really hard. Why don't you want to pay the journalists to do what they do? Like we've gotten so comfortable with everything being so accessible and free that we no longer value the things that actually make society great.
Right.
And now with ChatGPT and everything, everybody thinks that they can be creative. And look at what it's doing to society. But anyway, y'all, we love you. This is a long one. We've been here for 2 hours.
Yeah, we did the whole 2 hours.
Long one.
Yeah. Covered all the topics and all the things.
We did cover all the topics. Friends, I will not be here on Friday because it is Halloween. Halloween is my second favorite holiday after Kwanzaa. I am going to get dressed up. I was so happy with the costume that I got. I will be revealing that to you all on Friday. But we will be back next Tuesday. Hopefully, Dr. Hall, you can maybe join us. We'll see what happens. You
it's my
check
birthday.
Your schedule. Oh, it's your birthday.
I think I'm supposed to see my family.
Yeah, be with your family. Okay, that's fine. So I'll be here next Tuesday. And we'll shout you out, Dr. Hall. We'll sing happy birthday or whatever in your absence. But yeah, I gotta go out and enjoy Halloween. Like I said last time, I told you I've been going through a lot, and this is one of the things that brings me some joy. So I'm looking forward to that. And appreciate you all so much. Make sure you bookmark the merch because I will be having some wallpapers dropping and some new designs for some other products as well. And that has been, listen, y'all are helping me pay my light bill. That has been so helpful. Also, you can subscribe to my Patreon, patreon.com/Feminista Jones. I hate when people say Feminista. I hate it. It's Feminista, but I'm saying it Spanish. They're like they do the But anyway,
say it American around here.
Yeah. So thanks everybody. You know what I'm gonna do on Tuesday?
What are you doing on Tuesday?
I'm gonna do election results.
Election results on Tuesday.
Everybody, join me Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here as they start calling these elections. I might get here at 6:45. We'll do an election night because we got a lot of major elections happening. So we'll watch them together. Okay. And then we'll check out the pundits and see what they're saying, and hopefully we won't get kicked off. All right, I love you all.
If you go long, I might be able to show up.
Okay, well, I don't know.
I'll pop in.
Okay, you let me know. I love you all with the love of justice, the love of freedom, the love of liberation. I believe that we will win. Okay. As Asada Shakur said, rest in peace. Asada Shakur said, we have nothing to lose but our chains. Okay. So again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you didn't hit the like button, make sure you do so on the way out. And we will see you next time.
Do it.